We live in the mix, man. I thank everybody for tuning in. This is Law Nations. Also, this is Dallas.
But we're running more of a pure podcast, I think, tonight for the most part. Don't necessarily have, at least on my end, the camera set up and everything, but all that matters is that we're here to talk Cowboys.
Yes, and yes, indeed. And I don't. With that being said, when you love something, you can talk to you blue in the face, and that's what we're willing to do tonight. So we're gonna talk about the first topic of the hour is Zach Martin. What are your first initial thoughts of the $84 million man?
Well, my first thought is that it's no surprise that he got paid really what he deserves. The guy hasn't missed a game yet. He's got the longest active streak in the league for guards in terms of number of starts, and he's made the Pro Bowl every year he's been in the league. I also saw that he is one of, I think, three or four offensive guards since the 1970 merger to make the Pro Bowl their first four straight years. So the dude has earned his money. I'm just glad that it's settled and that he's going to be there and practicing now moving forward. We don't have any more distractions.
Yes, indeed. So, hey, when you have somebody like Zach Martin, I saw some funky stats about him. I'm talking about real nice. And it was like he only allowed 7 sacks in his whole entire career. Seven. That's
Mm.
crazy, man. That is so crazy, man. I think that although he's like one of the dominant right guards in this particular NFL, I hear some people saying that pretty much is he the best guard ever for the Dallas Cowboys? They already putting him up there in those
Ooh,
ranks.
I don't think he's got the longevity yet to do that.
True that.
I think you got to have Larry Allen there. I mean, if you want to put him in the company and say that like he's up there, I don't mind that necessarily. But yeah, I think you got to have a little bit more than 4 seasons under your belt before we start talking all time great guards for the Cowboys.
Well, you know how Cowboys are with their stats and stuff. So when I read that article, I hope I can find it somewhere. I can post it down below in the description box. But hey, when you get mentioned in the same room, in the same atmosphere, in the same area, in the arena that Larry Allen's and the other Nate Newtons and all those guys, those who paved the way before I can even thought about just following football. Man,
Hmm.
that's something that speaks volumes. That speaks a lot about what we have and what we can see down the line. Because especially, well, they signed him to a 6 year. Do you have the details of his contract?
It's 40 million
Mm-hmm.
guaranteed. I did see some mention that the way it's set up in terms of where the guaranteed money falls and everything, if it were to for whatever reason not break well, like some kind of serious injury or something, Dallas could look to basically make it like a 4 year deal without taking too much damage. So this pretty much sets him up for life as a Cowboy because he's got 1 year left on the current deal, and then he signs a 6 year extension. He's already 27, so this is a lifelong Cowboy deal for him, and I think that's good. But there's no doubt he got absolutely paid, which, as I said before, I think he's earned that right to be paid like that. But it is one of those things too, and it actually opens up some cap room for them now if they wanted to look to re-sign to a long-term deal, Demarcus Lawrence, or if they wanted to go take another stab at Earl Thomas. They've got the money now.
Money indeed. So when you're talking about open up money, we do know that I've been preaching to the high heavens that you always have to make that one or two moves to make that push to the Super Bowl. We saw it. It's in the proof is in the pudding. You look at the I hate to say this, the Philadelphia Eagles. They went out and got a Ron Darby. They went out and got a LeGarrette Blunt. They went out and got other guys, Jay Ajayi. I know he was a trade in that matter, but they went out and made some free agent moves to make things happen for them. And also, they went and got a Alshon Jeffries last year. I'm talking about last year, guys. They went out and made these moves as far as free agency. not saying that you sell the farm to get a lot of free agent guys, but I think that the team that moves and go out and pick people up to help elevate their team, whether it be a veteran leadership or veteran insight player, then you have a better chance of winning the Super Bowl. We saw what many years, well, a couple years back, what the New England Patriots did when they went and got a Revis. You see, even
Yep.
Denver, they went out and got Talib Queeb, how do you say this man's name? They went out and got players to help elevate their team, to help them get to the Super Bowl and ultimately win it. Now, the Cowboys, have we been so snake bitten that we too scared to pretty much make those type of moves? Do you feel that way, or do you think it's just
I
been a
think
matter of circumstances?
I think Dallas is absolutely a little snake bitten with regard to going out and making the big swing. But here's where I feel like it's different in the case of like a Earl Thomas. Dallas earmarked the number 50 pick in the NFL draft this year for Earl Thomas. And the only reason they didn't get him is because they saw Connor Williams fall there to 50 and they realized they could rebuild their entire identity on offense uh, and fortify that offensive line to continue being not only one of the best, but potentially the best overall, the number one line in the league, just as it was in 2014, just as it was in 2016, only for years to come. The offensive line, the only guy that is coming up at all on any kind of extension would be Lyle Collins, and I think that's in 2020. And beyond that, everyone signed 2022, 2023. I mean, they are locked down with this offensive line. And for how young they are, we forget about it sometimes. I know that Tyron's had health issues. He's the elder statesman at 27. I think Zach Martin's technically a month older, but this line is still very young, very experienced, and now they're going to have this much time together. So all this frees up Dallas, where I think it absolutely makes sense to go get Earl Thomas, because why not invest in that at this point? For anyone saying you can wait a year, yeah, maybe, but he's not going to play this year until he gets a new deal, and you don't want the chance of Seattle or someone caving and giving him that deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. And during this off-season talk, I've been saying a lot of times I compare Earl Thomas to what a Charles Woodson did for the Green Bay. He was a veteran, pretty much he was a cornerback, but they switched him over to a safety play. Not calling Earl Thomas Charles Woodson, but the temperament, the style, the way they play, the way they can elevate the team, can be able. They both can speak volumes for each other. You see, so
Yeah.
what I'm saying is, what I'm trying to craft together is that sometimes you have to pull the trigger on a guy that you know for sure that can fit well in within your system, and you know for sure that knows the system and who can actually on his way out help the younger guys. Because Jeff Heath, as long as he's been playing, believe it or not, Jeff Heath is still young in the game. I think he still have young legs out there because he have not been starting all of his life. So I really think that with a Earl Thomas, somebody with that type of temperament and that mindset, he will be able to help everybody out, and he knows the system.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Seattle's Legion of Boom, which was, kind of the architect behind that, was Chris Richard. He's here. Of that Legion of Boom, the only guy that was a highly sought after draft pick that wasn't more like a late round or mid round pick was Earl Thomas. He was the sideline to sideline guy that made it happen. And when he was out of the game for Seattle, it was a similar effect to when Sean Lee has been out for Dallas in recent years. So it makes total sense if Sean Lee is a straight up general, the General Lee in the middle of the field.
Mm-hmm.
If he's that for Dallas, why would you not want another guy that can be the same thing, but for the back end of your defense and who can lead this young, very talented group of cornerbacks moving forward? It makes total sense.
And then on top of that too as well, the last time we had a safety that we can just pretty much close our eyes and say, okay, we can sleep good the night before, was Darren Woodson.
Yep.
And we've been trying to find that safety for years. We never really. Somebody can argue the fact that we don't value. I'm talking about the value of the defensive tackle, the guy that's in the inside.
Yeah.
But in the same breath, I can say that we really had world of a bad luck when it dealing with the safety play. I mean, we tried to do it with Roy Williams, the safety, but it just didn't work out. The minute that Darren Woodson left his team, that's when Roy Williams, the safety, fell off the fell off this earth. He just didn't
Yeah.
look the same, and I kind of count that towards losing Darren Woodson.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely. He was a guy that played better up near the line of scrimmage, can deliver a hit, was never a guy that was strong in coverage. And so when they had to kind of shift him over, he got exposed.
Yes, indeed. So where this defense is going, we don't know. I'm still having a feeling that just from the system that's in place, I trust Rob Marinelli with the front four, and I can trust even without seeing any NFL game with Chris Richard pushing the Cowboys. I can still say that I trust Chris Richard without him even playing an NFL game with us. Talking about his coaching philosophy. At this point, I can really trust this team. I can see us being better than eighth overall.
Yeah, defensively, yes, I absolutely
Defensively, yeah, yeah.
yes, I absolutely could see that. The defense is honestly what I am most excited to see this year. I think the offense will surprise people because I think you're going to have a highly motivated Zeke, and obviously they fortified the offensive line. But I'm really interested in seeing what this defense can do because that young group of corners in the secondary, Cheeto, Jordan Lewis, Xavier Woods, they all balled out last year. Now that's not to say they didn't have their blemishes, but for young rookies, you're going to have that, especially for young cornerbacks.
Hmm.
But they really showed something last year. I really was impressed by what I saw from them. James has posted this stat a couple of times on the Silver and Blue page, where it's like fewest yards allowed per pass attempt against them, and like I don't know if it's NFL history or if it's like since 2000 or something like that, but like in the top four, you have from last year both Cheeto and Jordan Lewis listed. If I can find that here in a bit, I'll cite it again. But I mean, you have very talented young corners. You have Jalen Smith, who is supposedly, he's running without the brace. He's looking good. He is saying that he is rapidly approaching 100% again. And then you have, the only thing that I have still some concern with is the safety, which is why the Earl Thomas thing to me could put the defense over the top. But then you have to wonder if their hesitation perhaps there could be somewhat leveled as well with how much they believe in the offense until they see more out of the receiving core. But that's really the only huge question mark to me is maybe tight end and what we get out of the receivers because they're trying to prove you can win without a true number one receiver.
Yes, the offense side of the ball, we still have a big reservations on. That's something that we will not know until we actually see a live football game, unfortunately. But with the defense, we can still say, okay, Cheeto Bear Woozier, Jordan Lewis, Anthony Brown. I do know he had a sophomore slump, but we can still say Byron Jones. We know what he can do when he's playing press man, and that's where they got him at. And Xavier Woods, all these guys, we can't wait for them to have their second year so we can see how much they improve. My only thing that I can say too as well, without the I guess a true leader like a Earl Thomas, is that if we go a whole off season with no injuries, we okay. But we know that the water is going to get trouble just a little bit. We know that's coming. I just don't want it to be the hamstring monster. I hope
Yeah,
we can figure out a way to just wart away the hamstring monsters.
right. Yeah, I really like. I mean, so far the only injury of any note that we've seen has been a minor ankle injury for Van Der Esch. He still
or,
hasn't
or
come
or
back.
hold on, or is it really a minor injury?
Yeah. So we still haven't seen him return from that,
Right.
but they could just be because they haven't even gotten to training camp. They could just be overcautious with him, wanting to be certain that they're not risking any aggravation of his injury. But I don't know, man. I really think that this defense is built to impress this year.
Hmm. But this is the thing: when you said minor injury, or they just trying to pretty much saying, okay, we're gonna maybe put some bubble wrap on him and let him come back during training camp. we remembered the tuna, Bill Parcells.
Yep.
I'm just wondering if Bill Parcells was our coach right now. I wonder what he would be calling because he liked to give the players a nickname and stuff like that. And what he called Terry Glenn? Rest in peace, Terry Glenn. Do you remember what he called Terry Glenn?
Ooh, not off the top of my head, man.
Somebody in the chat box remember what he called him, and I think he called him her or something like that. And Bill Parcells is just 1,000%, non PC guy. And
Yeah.
even when Jason Witten broke his jaw,
She.
yeah, he called him she. Well, I just only imagine,
Shout out Deke One.
shout out to you, man. Thank you, man. See, we got some people, some troops in there that got some good football mind and recall. This is the
Italian
thing.
Cowboy.
Italian Cowboys, he's always in the mix, man. That's my brother there. This is the thing too, as well. When Jason Witten broke his jaw,
Yep.
didn't Bill Parcells say, wait a minute, I had a guy to break his jaw. He played the second quarter.
Yeah.
So he just really never let up on his players. I'm not saying that we want LVE to run out there with half of a leg, but I just wish that, and I don't know what's going on in the coaching staff, what's going on in the coaching meetings and stuff like that, or how they talk to players outside of the all or nothing. But I wonder what they really said to LVE when he sprained his ankle.
That's a good question. I don't know what he would say. Parcells is such an old school coach. I almost wonder if he could even exist in today's NFL. People act like they're aghast seeing all the cursing and like all or nothing and all that.
Wow,
Man,
yeah.
I guarantee you that's nothing compared nothing compared to when Parcells was on the sideline and running shop, through the 90s and all that.
Yes, indeed. Look, we got somebody diving in, man, backstroking it in almost into this thing. I got my brother from another mother, no other. Don't look like Danny Glover, but keep it cool for us, man. Well, go ahead, tell him what's your name, and tell him what your name is, bruh.
It's Big Game James. Get out the way. You all in my light. She all in my shine right now. Get the hell out of my light. I'm shining right now. I just came off of work. I'm Big Game James. You know it is BGJ. I seen. Yeah. Did I see DDP? He got excited when I got on here because he's always like, "Hey, I'm back. I'm in effect. I just got off work. I'm tired as hell, but let's do this."
That's what we do, man. We roll out of the bed and start talking. We punch the clock out, and then we start talking about this Dallas Cowboys. If you're not bleeding silver and blue, I don't know what you doing on this page, on this channel. This is what I'm talking about, baby. We're talking about defense right now, Big Game James. What's your thoughts so far?
Well, my thoughts so far is I'm excited. I told you I've been excited for a long time. This is the first time I've been excited about our team. Our defense, let me say that, our defense since the 90s. Our defense wasn't dominant, but it was very good because it just kind of intertwined with our offense. And just by listening to, the guys and watching a little bit clips of the mini camp, the defense is looking really good. And I think what it really is what everybody's been singing the praises of, Chris Richard. We're looking at him like he's a god right now, but the way he's bringing in his mindset, he's implementing his system, but it's more the mindset that he's implemented. I listened to an interview of Chidobe today, and he was saying, like, what's the difference? What has changed since you've been here from year one to year two? He was saying Chris Richard. He said, you know what? He's coming in with an attitude. He's coming in with teaching. He's making the game fun again. We're running around. We're jumping around. We're trying to get every opportunity. We knock a ball down. We're slapping high fives. We're jumping around. And that's what I feel like the Cowboys have been missing for a very long time. Fun. It's okay to have fun in the game. And I feel like we lost a lot of the fun. And I don't know if Jason Garrett is a boring guy, but I feel like we lost a lot of fun. And not just that. It just really rings a big bell to me that the coaches that we did have as the assistant coaches, Derek Dooley, the guy that we got, Sherman, I believe he was a defensive assistant defensive coordinator. But a lot of those guys that we had that were before, you see a new thing. You heard Cole Beasley saying, guess what? We're finally doing routes. So that was I don't know if that was a dig to Derek Dooley, but you're hearing we're finally doing routes. We're finally doing the small things.
Dooley didn't know diddly. Dooley didn't know
exactly,
diddly, and he was
and
scared.
Then when you hear Jordan Lewis, and then I told you a couple weeks ago, Law, when you was on here with Anthony Brown, and he was talking about, yes, we're actually learning now, because before we just went out there and just played. That rings bells to me when you're talking about your receivers coach and your defensive back coach and you're saying y'all just went out there and played. Well, maybe that's why we lost those critical games, and we shouldn't have lost because we just played. Remember when we played that San Diego game and Keenan Allen destroyed us?
Right.
Yep.
Keenan Allen totally destroyed us.
Trust me, he walked in the touchdown without being touched.
Right.
Ooh, that made me mad.
Maybe that was the game where they just did whatever. You get what I'm saying? And I feel like if that's under Chris Richard's watch, that is unacceptable, and that doesn't happen.
Hey, let me know this, man. Where do you catch that Cheeto Bear Woozier interview from? Because I haven't seen that interview. You said you watched the interview on him.
Well, actually, I didn't watch it. It was on I think it was Blogging the Boys. No, it was actually Sports Day. Sports Day has a lot of good one-on-one interviews, and they did a one-on-one interview with Chidobe, and they basically was just going through what he feels different from year one and year two. Chris Richard was something that he talked about. Also, Michael Gallup, because he said he used to bang with him at Colorado State because, Awuzie came from Colorado. And he said he already knew about Gallup. And he said that guy's the truth. And if Awuzie is the main guy he's mentioned, he's saying Gallup is the truth, then we should get excited to see that this guy might be our number one receiver.
Yes, indeed. And hey, guys, that's in the chat box, man. I really appreciate this. If you guys find clips, interviews, anything like that, hit me up on Twitter. Hit me up on Facebook where you can post a link, or see if you can post a link down below the video that we post on, because for some reason, I think the Dallas Cowboys website is not just pushing out a lot of content no more. Is it just me? Yeah,
no, it's not. They don't push out no content at all. Like, honestly, what we're doing right now, Law and DDP, is we're really feeding the people. We're feeding the masses, because if you really went on the Dallas Cowboys website, you wouldn't get a lot of information. You wouldn't get all the good stuff that you really want.
Right.
They keep it kind of basic, and then when they do interviews, they take forever to post it. So I guess
hire us.
Maybe. Hey, I'm not going to be mad at that, because if they were if they were doing that, then we probably wouldn't have an outlet right now, right?
Right. But shout out to Dallas Cowboys fan club. They got all like exclusive stuff.
They got all the
but they don't want to share it though. Whatever you do,
I'll be sharing the hell out of it though. I'll find it, share it, and I'll wait to see if they block it.
Man, they fool around and say, "Hey, Law, though, hey, they kind of got under their skin a little bit about me." So I said, "Okay, I ain't gonna touch the clips." But Dallas Cowboys fan club. See, I'm nice. I give you guys shout outs and plugs. Y'all go and check their website out or their YouTube
Don't give them too
page
many
out.
plugs. We got to be able to have some secrets now, y'all. We got some videos.
Oh, okay. I'm a hush.
We got to make it. We can't show them, man. We can't give them all the good stuff, man.
Hey, did you check out the David Irvin interview today?
I didn't get to check out. I seen where he was talking about it's more than football with him. People are players. But you know what? I also I'm gonna just jump on this, Law. He's talking about he's going through things, and it's bigger than football. People outside of this. Listen, I'm gonna just keep it real. This is my point of view, and I'm glad Sean Lee. I posted the interview where Sean Lee got on David Irvin, basically like, you know what, you got to be here. We're relying on you. We need you. You got to be here. And I'm gonna go back to this once again. I play sports, I coach sports, and one thing I know: if you're going through as a man, I don't know how the ladies do in their when they play sports, anything, but as a man, when you are playing any kind of sports, one thing I do know: when you have outside problems, girl, kids, anything like that, we all know that we start going to practice more. We start hanging with the guys more. We start lifting more, because we want to take our mind off of those issues. And how do we take our mind off those issues? Hanging with the brotherhood, getting stronger with the brotherhood, because that makes you mentally stronger, because then when you're inside there, other people can talk to you. Other people can help you. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's what it seems like these guys are trying to do for David Irvin. And I know he's a young guy, but honestly, I'm not really trying to listen to the excuses anymore. I went through a dirty marriage. I went through a bad marriage. I went through the kid thing. And guess what? You still got to be professional. You still got to handle your business, and you're on a 1-year deal. So I don't want to hear that excuse, because if you're trying to take care of your family and you got those things going on, then you need to bust your ass and get that big contract so you can take care of your daughter and everybody else.
Yes, indeed, man. He was saying that a lot in his interview today, man. And
I don't want. It's like he's
yeah,
crying, man. I
yeah,
mean, yeah, like he's the only person in the world that has freaking
right,
family issues.
right.
You're
True
not the
that.
only man in the world that's had these kind of problems. So, what are we supposed to give you a violin and string it up and down because you're going through this? No, we all go through these things. You're a professional, and they're paying you to be a professional. You are one of the supposedly trying to be a leader of the team. How can you be a leader of the team when every year you're inconsistent? And it shouldn't be Sean Lee having to tell you, we need you here, David Irvin, after year 3.
You ain't
Yeah.
lying with that. DDP, man, what are your thoughts? Because he did say he played at 312 last year. I didn't know he was that big. I thought he was 280. So he said he played at 312 last year. He said that he's in between 312 and 285 now. I know he's not 285. You can just look at him and
He's
tell.
every bit of 300.
Yeah.
So he said he want to lose 15 to 20 pounds. So that's
He
that
hasn't
gives you
even
a
put on
brain.
any equipment. Have you watched when they've been doing the OTAs in the
Nah, I
mini
haven't
camps?
seen-
Have
I
you
haven't
seen a
seen
helmet
none of
on
that.
his head?
Nah,
Nope.
nah.
Thank you. That's what I'm looking at. Everybody else has got helmets. You're still on the side running laps. That says to me you are out of shape.
Yeah.
Man, you preaching.
He's definitely got to refocus, and hopefully the part that I'm really hopeful that he was being honest about is that he's basically ready to put all the off the field distraction stuff behind him,
I don't believe him.
even though he didn't shed any light on it. You hope that he's actually willing to do that. All I care about is that he's here, he's focused, and he's working. Like, he needs it. He needs to have a big year. We've talked about that. But Dallas needs him to have a big year, too. A big part of what made the defensive line so lethal last year was when you had him and Marcus Lawrence wrecking shop together. In 8 games last year, he had 7 sacks. That's ridiculous production. Out of defensive tackle position, that's ridiculous production. I don't know that he could necessarily replicate that if he's distracted and not focused, but we just got to see. We got to hope that he can put this stuff behind him, because this is if he can't, then it's all the more reason why Dallas didn't give him a long-term extension. They don't trust him, and they were right not to trust him if he can't put his off the field stuff out of his mind to at least come to work and do what he's got to do.
Mm-hmm. I still want him to be hungry, because he also mentioned in that interview today that everybody else out there is fast and explosive. This defense, he said, man, he can't put a ceiling. He can't put a cap to what they can do if he can play every game. I'm sitting here saying, like, duh, get out there and play, because I can only imagine. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. If you're sitting there saying, I see what this defense can do, and this defense looks nasty. Well, David Irvin, you're an integral part of this defense. So if you know this defense can be that damn good and you are one of the key pieces, then why are you not coming into shape? And I'm gonna keep it real. I read a little excerpt from his ex-girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
I know she was lying. I know she's probably a crazy nut. I think she is. That's just my opinion. I think she is probably a crazy nut. But she did say something that I do believe her when she said this. When she said David Irvin is an actor. And she said, and what he does is he gets everybody food. And what she also said that, you know what, David Irvin would be nasty if David Irvin will concentrate on football. But David Irvin doesn't concentrate on football. And that's the reason why David Irvin is in the place that he's in. Now, as I said before, I don't be believing a lot of things she says, but that I believe. I believe that she is right, that he doesn't concentrate fully on football. And when I heard that interview when he says life is bigger than football, yes, we understand this. Just like we understand when we go to work, life is bigger than our jobs. But we still have to go to work and perform. And if we do not perform, we are going to get in trouble. And the only reason why he seems to get a pass is because he's 6'7" and he's 300 pounds, and he had those 7 sacks in 8 games. And it's almost like you said, Law, we coddle them. We coddle him because, look what he can do. Look what he can do. So let's just make sure David Irvin is okay in the right frame of mind, and let's coddle him and pamper him and tell him it's going to be okay so we can get his full production. No, I want to see some Sean Lee. What Sean Lee did to him was like, you know what? Hey, we understand what you're going through, David Irvin, but you need to be here. It's not mandatory to come to OTAs, but we're trying to build something great. Whenever you see those great teams winning Super Bowls and championships, What do they always get? 100% attendance in the OTAs because they understand we are trying to win a championship. That's why you on the team.
So that's where the saying say you win the championship during the off season, and I love to hear this. I love to hear
You
this,
don't
man.
win
You
it during the
spitting
season. You
fire,
win it
yeah.
during the off season, Law, and you know that. If you
Yes,
don't win a
indeed.
how do you build championships? You build it with camaraderie. You build it with hard work, hanging with the guys, chilling with each other, building and growing within. That's how you build championships. And if you're one of the guys that's always sitting on the outside, oh, I got this going on, I got that going on, man, dude's gonna be looking at you like, all right, man, you ain't about that life.
Man, and you deep, man. Everybody's saying you the flamethrower over there, man. Yoga
Flame on.
flame.
Yo got flyer. Yo got flame.
DDP, man. What's the next topic, man?
James kind of touched on it a little bit earlier. I wanted
Right.
to talk a little bit about Cole Beasley's comments regarding Sanjay Lal and why he's so particularly impressed with him, and kind of what that insinuates regarding the former Cowboys receiving coach, Derek Dooley. Now, did you get a chance to catch this headline, Law?
I didn't catch the full interview. I only caught what people was reacting to it, like the Mike Fishers of the worlds and guys from 105.3 The Fan. They was pretty much saying that Cole Beasley said that Derek Dooley was teaching them to run routes naturally, whereas this Lau guy, Sanjay, he's teaching them I guess the fundamentals, the birth of the conception of how you to actually run the route.
Yeah.
Every nuance on the route, he teaching you the reason why you cut off the leverage, the reason why you round your routes on certain occasions, or reason why you not to round your routes, and the reason why you have to explode off your extends, and also the reason why you have to push through your route and not run it sloppy when you're getting fatigued. So I think that for once, I can say this. The first interview that I heard with Sanjay Lal, I heard a little bit of Chris Richard in him when he said, I want my guys, as a mission statement, I want my guys to be violent. And I said, ooh, that made me shake because I love to hear that being physical, being more physical than that guy across from you. That's how you win in anything in life. Be the aggressor and don't allow the aggressions to come to you. You tack on and you be the aggressor in any situation. Just like in boxing. The aggressor always win the count.
Yeah, absolutely. I was trying to pull up the snippet of Beasley's quote from that, but yeah, it's
Yeah, I don't have his
absolutely,
quote at all. I don't have his quote
yeah.
at all. Yeah.
No, it's cool. But yeah, it absolutely comes across as, a bit of a dig at Derek Dooley and everything. I'm glad that everyone, in the receiving corps is impressed with Sanjay Law. We were told by Alan Hearns when he signed with the Cowboys, a big part of why he signed was that he felt like in 1 hour talking with Sanjay Lal, he learned more than he did the entire year and change with Jacksonville. So that's really impressive to hear. And if it actually translates onto the field, then that's fantastic. But I'll be curious to see how this is revisited in a couple years, if we'll look back and be like, man, that was a damn good hire, or if we're gonna kind of be in a similar situation. Because although I don't think Dooley is a great coach, I don't recall hearing much before this past season that he was much of a problem. That's not to say he was an asset necessarily, but I feel like these things are kind of cyclical, right? You bring in a new coach, and it's natural to some degree to say, to kind of prop that up and be like, yeah, I really like what he's bringing to the table. This is what he's teaching us. And sometimes that can kind of have implied nuance to it that may not be true. I don't like Derek Dooley, so I'm going to roll with Beasley taking the dig personally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it was a personal dig. I think the biggest thing that stood out to me, even when they had the All or Nothing series, and I think the thing that stood out to me more when they played the Broncos and Dez Bryant was basically talking to Derek Dooley like that, talking to him very disrespectfully, and how Dooley came back basically like, okay, Dez, but what we need to do? No, I'm the coach and you're the player. You shut the hell up and you listen to what the hell I say. I don't care if you're Dez Bryant. You're going to listen to what I say. Now, if the other receivers hear him say that, yeah, I guarantee you they're going to have more respect for a Derek Dooley instead of what he just said, because we're people, aren't we?
Right,
If I saw a star receiver talking to my coach like that, and my coach didn't say nothing back, and he came with that response, you know what I'm going to do? Man, I'm going to say the same thing to
same
you.
thing.
I'm going to say the same thing to you because I ain't scared of you, because ain't nothing going to happen to me. You feel what I'm saying? Like, there ain't going to be no repercussions. And if there is a repercussion to me, then I'm going to say, well, you didn't say it to Dez.
True
Yeah,
that.
You get what I'm
absolutely.
saying? And that's how that starts. So you have to do it. You have to put your foot down from day one. And I just feel like after I seen that, that just let me know Derek Dooley was soft. And maybe that's
Yes.
why they liked him, because he was soft and they could do what they want and they could get what they want. Because sometimes you can like a coach, but you really don't like him, but you like him because he lets you get away with stuff. And
It
that's why you
goes,
like him so much.
yeah, it goes to the culture of coddling players.
Mm-hmm. Cottonelle. That's what we was. And it's cottonelle tissue, soft. So the thing is, too, as well, I know for sure that they are not going to run the same plays. And I'm not saying that Sanjay Lyles is out there drawing up plays. He's just teaching them what they need to do within the play. But what I'm saying is, I was reading the article from Brian Broaddus and some of the other cats that's out there on the Dallas Cowboys website. They got some new wrinkles now this year. He said that they didn't lined up Cole Beasley on the outside and
Yep.
Yes,
Tavon
sir.
Austin, both of the smaller guys on the outside, and put the bigger guys into the inside.
There's
And
nothing
still
wrong with
had,
that.
yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. So I'm sitting here saying, man, you can only imagine what the opposition is thinking. Like, you put these little guys on the outside, and then all of a sudden you still got Ezekiel Elliott in the backfield. I'm gonna try to squeeze towards the inside. You see. So it's gonna be a lot of things. There's gonna be some lot of new stuff out there as far as this play design. Hopefully I'm right on that.
You
But
are right.
from what I'm hearing,
You are right.
thank you. Well, thank you.
You are right. You're very right. You know why you're right?
Yeah.
Because we don't have
Yeah.
Des Bryant and Jason Witten. So I think that went with a lot of people saying the Dallas Cowboy offense is so predictable. You know why? Because we got to force the ball to Dez. We got to force the ball to Jason Witten. Now, when you line up against the Cowboy offense, you don't know who the hell we're going to throw to. You don't know where we're going to throw it to Zeke. You don't know if we're going to throw it to Austin. You don't know, because we don't have a number one guy on the outside or even at the tight end position. So you don't know what we're going to do. So if you're an offensive coordinator and they're thinking that we don't know who you're going to go to because you don't have a number one guy, then you play off that, and then you make your offense even more diverse. To every time you line up on that field, first, second, third down, you want them to never know what you're going to do, because when you have the defense on their heels like that, then you are controlling the game. You are dictating the tempo of the game, and that's the whole purpose of that on the offensive side. Dictate the tempo, not the defense, but the offense dictate the tempo from the day one, from first down.
Man, I can't wait for this season to start, man. Man, I just can't wait. You can't get here fast enough, right?
Hell no, I
Yeah,
can't.
yeah.
I'm ready.
I'm curious. Who do you guys think? I'll break it down this way because it's kind of subjective depending on how you look at certain stats. Who do you guys think leads this team in receptions next year?
You go first, Law.
Oh man, it's gonna be. This is how I'm looking at it. You remember Marshall Faulk, guys?
Mm-hmm.
And then if I can go all the way back, you guys remember Roger Craig?
Mm-hmm.
And,
When he had them 100-yard receptions, when he had those 1,000 yards receiving, 1,000 yards rushing. Yeah, I remember all that.
that's where I'm thinking that this team is leaning more towards. And the reason being is I got tape and clips and everything like that I'm curating now on Joe Montana to Roger Craig. And I'm telling you, he was the greatest dink and dunk and whoever
Yes.
you want to call type
He
of
didn't have no
quarterback.
arm.
He didn't have no arm,
Not at all.
Of course, we see it occasionally, the deep balls and highlights or what have you. But he dink and dunk, used the West
All
Coast
day.
offense all day. And this
Slant
guy, Roger
routes,
Craig,
digs.
right. When you guys see these clips, you guys gonna be like, God, dog, Law, you right on the money, man, with this Roger Craig guy. And I know it's a bunch before a lot of people time, but and then people fail to realize just in the 2000 era, when the NFL became pass happy, when you're not allowed to, I guess back in the days, you was able to face up about the opposition as a DB all the way down the field. You see. So just in 2000, everything became more pass happy and more just flinging the ball down the field. But guys, just know that this offense is not going to be like just dink and dunking, but it's
Sure.
going to be primarily Ezekiel Elliott getting the ball out of the backfield, Tavon Austin getting the ball out of the backfield, and then also with your Michael Gallup, who can got short area quickness, who can find separation, and then your Allen Hurns. To me personally, when I was going back looking at some more clips of Allen Hurns, he just plays better to me in the inside. You can get those
He's a slot
crazy
guy.
mismatch.
He's a slot guy.
6'3". I'm
Slot
talking
guy.
about just burst off the line. I'm talking not talking that
Physical.
when you see Dez, you do that little hop step and run off the line. No, you don't see that with Allen Hurns. I'm not calling Allen Hurns better than Dez, but what I'm saying is those short area passes.
His technique, though.
Woo!
Their
His
stats
technique.
are identical almost through the last 2 years.
Right. His
Jeez.
technique is
Man, my goodness. If he can
I
stay
mean,
healthy, my God, man.
if you ask me, I'm gonna just jump out there and say Michael Gallup. And the only reason why I'm gonna say that is because I'm seeing high marks from everybody that's saying anything about him. They all keep on going back to Gallup. He's physical. He's strong. He plays strong. He plays strong with his hands. And I'm gonna keep it real. I'm not even going to try to take credit for it, but I will take a little bit of credit for it because, all right, I'm going to take some credit for it because I'm going to guarantee you when I posted Michael Gallup 2 months before anybody said anything about him, I happened to go on Twitter and I seen this guy, I cannot remember his name. He posted an article on Michael Gallup. I never had even really heard of him. I'm going to keep it real. He posted an article and he said, this is the guy you want to watch. So I went and watched the tape. I said, man, this dude is good. So, I went to the Pro Football Focus, looked at it, the route tree, his receptions. Dude was a dog. And I just kept posting him after that. Like, I like this Michael Gallup kid. I like this Michael Gallup kid. He plays strong. He plays physical. And he plays with his hands. He gets that ball and he attacks. And he doesn't have the diva attitude. And that's what I love about him. It's like, even though if he gets a lot of receptions, he still comes to work because he's out there to prove something. And I think he's going to be our guy. And I think he's going to be our guy without all the extra. And I think that's what we really want. We want to have a number one type guy, but we don't need all the extra with it. And I think that's what Michael Gallup is going to bring to the table. And I think he's going to be our leading receiver. Go ahead and book it. Michael Gallup's going to be our leading receiver this year.
I would not be unhappy with that at all. I think as far as who's the leader in receptions this year, I think it's going to be Beasley. And I think he's going to bounce back. I think he has a better year, more like we saw with 2016 where he was kind of Dak's sort of like his security blanket, but at the same time, I don't think he's just going to be kind of the short range check down. I think they'll find more creative ways to implement him that will allow him to show a little bit of stuff we haven't seen from him before. I think it's that familiarity with Dak that's going to help him in terms of leading in receptions. If we're talking yards, I think it's a toss-up for me between Hurns and, as James said, Gallup. I really think by the end of the season, Michael Gallup is going to be pushing for that number one job. Now, he could get there earlier. Maybe I'm wrong, but when they drafted him, that was what I declared on the spot, was that by the end of season, he would be really challenging for that number one job with Dez gone.
I hear you on that.
Whispers out there is on Cedric Wilson. And,
I like him a lot too.
I like Cedric Wilson, but he ain't gonna be our leading receiver.
Right.
So you can already just say that that's not happening. Cedric Wilson is not going to be our leading receiver.
Right,
so
right.
That's not happening. But I will say this with you, I will agree with you on DDP with that, because how many games do we see when Dak played, when Dez Bryant was there, how much better he played? Mm-hmm. And I think he really will look to Beasley more, because that will be his more security blanket, because he has him in the fold, and he doesn't have to worry about Dez. And I'm not trying to bash Dez, but it's just a reality. You don't have to worry about that any longer. And I'm telling you, as a quarterback, when you can just hike the ball and you can actually just look at all your options, check down, and you don't have to feel like you've got to force it to a player, mm-hmm. I'm telling you, you play better. You do. Right. You do. No matter what anybody says, you play better.
Also, Witten retiring makes him more of a safety blanket now, more comfortable.
Right. Exactly. Let me ask you guys this then. I'm going to throw this monkey wrench at you. Do you go with 7 receivers, 6 receivers, 5?
Don't go with no 5.
Let's count them. Let's count them off. Let's count them off and see where we think the line gets drawn. James, Let's see.
You
We
true
got.
X. I think the only X guy as far as physical frame is Noah Brown, right? You
Yep,
got Noah
that's
Brown.
what I was going to say.
That's
Yeah.
You
one.
don't think Gallup is a physical guy, physical frame?
I still think you got to play him for his rookie year, the inside.
That's
You know,
yeah.
I'm talking about like as far as throwing him out there to the X position and saying, okay, you got the strong side of the field, you can just take over.
They did it with Dez.
They did play Dez outside his rookie year, but he was like
Dez,
at the start of his career, he was receiver number 3.
Dez had I'm gonna tell you this guy who had a good year when Dez was there. What's this guy who went to Jaguars?
Talking about LaRon Robinson.
They had LaRon Robinson. They had Austin. They had number 11, the
Roy Williams.
Roy Williams. The
Trash.
Butterfinger Roy Williams trash. But and then they had Sam Hurd.
Drug dealer, drug lord, kingpin.
Yeah, they had some competition out there, and I think
Not
that
like now though.
Yeah, I don't know. Rookie Dez was more. I don't know, man. I don't know where to put this. So let's count. Let's count. Yeah,
but Dez did get hurt his rookie year. He broke his ankle, right?
Hell yeah, against the Colts.
Yeah,
yes, very late in the year, I think.
Very late in the year, right?
Yeah.
But he wasn't the man even his rookie year. He didn't come in as the man.
And
Like
you could argue,
Roy Williams
for most of his second year, he wasn't the man either.
Yeah, it was Roy Williams, and Austin was still the guy for real.
Yeah,
right.
So let's try and list off the receivers here and see where we think the line gets drawn. So you got Noah Brown.
Hold on. The caveat is that they got to play special team too as well. So keep going.
Okay. Noah Brown, Allen Hurns, Cole Beasley, Michael Gallup. Then we would go Tavon Austin. They're listing him as a running back, though.
So we're not going to count him.
Yeah, we're not going to count Tavon.
Yeah. So then
Lance Lenore.
Yeah, Lance Lenore. We have Cedric Wilson.
Cedric Wilson and Katie Cannon.
Yes, Katie Cannon. That's who I was trying to think of.
And then you guys missing somebody. You guys missing number 83.
T-Will? Yeah.
T-Will, they're gonna
probably keep him. I don't think they're gonna cut him.
Injury reserve for 3 weeks for what, first 7 games?
Because I don't think they're gonna cut him. I thought they were, but I'm keep on hearing too many people cut him that.
And you think they were gonna
it would cost them more to cut him than it would to keep him.
Yeah.
And then knowing the Cowboys, they don't like to get rid of they drafted guys.
and they love.
They're gonna keep Cedric. They're gonna keep Cedric because they drafted him.
Cedric has got the Boise State bulletproof. He's good.
So I'm holding up 8 fingers, man. Who I'm gonna take away now?
You're taking away Katie Cannon.
Katie Cannon, probably Lance Lenore.
I'm gonna tell you right now, Lance Lenore.
Mm-hmm.
6. And we didn't even mention Deontay Thompson.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
This is gonna be very.
And Sanjay Lal likes him.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And who all can play special team? Remember that. Now.
Well, I know Thompson can play it. Lance Lenore can play it. Noah Brown can play it.
Right.
I know those are 3 guys that definitely can play it, and Noah Brown, number 1, he ain't going nowhere because he blocks, and that's Jerry Jones. That was one of his favorites last year. So plus, I'm telling you that Ohio State background, it does because they believe when you play for Ohio State, they just believe you're a natural pro player because they bring out pro guys. So. I'm interested to see I just really interested to see how it's going to really shake down. We got a lot of inexperience, but the exciting thing is, even though you have the inexperience, you got talent, and I think we do have talent. And just because nobody else believes it, that don't matter. Just because nobody else is saying, "Oh, we got one of the worst receiving cores," we don't care about what anybody else says. We're just going to go out there and prove it and shut all these people the hell up.
Man, you know I'm going to say this, right?
Say it.
What would Bill Belichick do, man? What would Bill Belichick do?
He'd probably be keeping them no-name guys because Bill Belichick always keeping that talent. He definitely keeping a Cedric Wilson, and he probably keeping a Lance Lenore.
Okay.
Because you got to look at Deontay Thompson. As much as he got the speed, he played in the slot, and I'm not dogging him. He is 30, and if you're looking at the team where we're headed, Lance Lenore is still a young guy, and that's your pet guy.
That's my guy.
You loved him last year. And it ain't like Lenore is a little kid. He ain't like no 5'10" guy. He's a solid 6'3", almost 6'4". He's a big dude. and
Bigger now. Yeah.
and he's playing good. I seen a couple plays and patterns where he is juicing people, and they're saying nothing but good things about him. So it's going to be a hell of a battle. Like I said, Deontay Thompson, he only signed a 1 year deal, so his spot is not guaranteed.
Man, this is going to be very interesting, man. It's just going to be like whoever going to snap up their hamstring first.
Mm-hmm.
Uh huh. And everybody going to, Boise State Insurance. He's solid.
He's solid. He's not getting cut. Let's just already put Cedric Wilson on the team. He's got the Boise State bulletproof. You get drafted from Boise State to the Cowboys, you're making the team.
Yes, indeed. DDP, what's good, man?
I wanted to give a couple shout outs real quick. I don't know if you guys have the Law Nation chat open, but in the Dallas Prospect one, shout out Virginia's finest, Ron Smith, D. Wilson.
What up, Ron? Utah's finest.
Yeah. Let's see here. In the Law Nation one over here, we got a shout out Kevin Martin, D. Will, Ty Jefferson.
Is that T. Will? You listening to us, dog? Hey, I ain't mean to talk about you like that.
And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best. Oh,
yep.
Man, Mitch, what's up, man? Hulk Rage Cowboy.
There's all kinds of people in here. I'd be listening off for 20 minutes.
I love the
shout out. I'll just say Joseph, Hulk Rage Cowboy, the Callaway.
Hulk Rage. I love it.
Mark Thomas, anyone else I'm missing? We'll circle back for another wave of shout outs in a bit. Keep commenting.
You banging out there, Law. Got 140 watching right now. You so popular,
man. That's what I'm talking about, man. Shout out to the Hulk, man. That's the coolest name in the chat box right now. The Hulk Rage, man.
Where's Ninja Nuts?
Cowboy.
I have not seen Ninja Nuts, but I've only been on this one a little while.
Where is Ninja
I think that's
Nuts?
the whole point is you don't see him.
Right.
He just jump in and towards the end and just ninja nut his way all over.
Shout out Ernest Welsh, Cowboys Nation from Philly.
I like it. Cowboys Nation in Philly. You definitely got to give him a shout out because you're in hostile territory.
Shout out to all the East Coast
Cowboys. For real, I would not go to a Philadelphia game without pistols.
Italian Cowboy, what's good, man?
What up, Italian Cowboy?
That's my brother there, man. Hey, so what about this running back crew, man? What we gonna do with it? Who gonna make it? Who gonna fall on the sword?
I don't think Jackson's gonna make it. We brought Jackson back over. Darius Jackson. Everybody was hyped and excited, but I really feel like they really like Scarborough. I think they want to do something with him. I feel like, when Dallas really likes somebody and they feel like they got to steal, they're not going to get rid of him. Mm-hmm. So I feel like it's easier for them to cut Jackson, even though they brought him back. It's easier for them to cut him because they want to see what they got in Scarborough. You don't just get rid of a 6'2", 245-pound back like that. Yeah, I know he has some injuries, but he's not going to be a full-time back with us, so he won't probably be as injury-prone because what Nick Saban does. You go to Alabama, he's going to run the hell out of you. You go to Alabama. So I think him, Rod Smith, Ezekiel Elliott, people need to really don't sleep on Rod Smith. The Cowboys believe he was a 16-game starter as a running back. So that means they think highly of him. So you're going to see Rod doing a lot of things, out flex in that backfield, fullback, all kind of things. And I think you're going to see a lot of that. Bo Scarborough, I think you'll see him later in games. You won't see him early because he's a rookie. And, they're not just going to throw that rookie in the fire. They'll bring him along slowly. You'll probably see him on them short yardage situations, and they'll try to see how he does. If you see him start getting touchdowns in those short yardage situations, you're going to see more Bo Scarborough.
Yep.
I can see a 3-back running set right now when
you're going to have goal line. You're going to have
wishbone that shit.
You got 4 running backs who are going to be in your swing here because, as we mentioned earlier, Tavon Austin is a running back for this team. So you got Zeke, you got Rod Smith, you got Bo Scarborough, who I think has to be the wrecking ball guy as well that pushes past like Darius Jackson, and then Tavon Austin. So I like the balance I'm seeing. I still think it's going to be a primarily Zeke heavy, game plan, but as you mentioned, goal line, I could certainly see I could see Scarborough in there a little bit, although you don't want to detract from Zeke too much in the goal line. That is a strength of his as well. I'll be interested in seeing how they use him. It just depends. What I liked about the Scarborough pick is you don't have a perfect solution for Zeke if he ever missed time for injury or another suspension. Who knows? Jesse Ortiz, Olawale is their fullback. I think they'll use him more in passing kind of situations. He was a converted tight end out of North Texas.
Mm-hmm.
But I really think that they have insurance. They don't have one back. You can't replace Zeke with one back on the rest of the roster. But between guys like Tavon Austin and Bo Scarborough and even Rod Smith, they kind of have insurance in the fact that they can recreate elements of his game, at least to some degree, with these other guys. Whereas last year, Alfred Morris and Darren McFadden, that was no replacement for Zeke. There was no similarity to their style of play compared to his and their strengths and all of that. So I like what I see, but we'll see how it turns out. I really want to see something out of Scarborough this year.
I think what I'm excited more than anything is that we're young. Even when we had McFadden and when we had Morris, that was cool, but they were old heads. I'm going to keep it real. I was never excited about when we got Alfred Morris. His time was done when he was at Washington. He wasn't going to be an impact player with us. Darren McFadden, he had his year in 2015 where he did good for us, but I mean, you weren't really going to get a lot with him, and then you saw how they jerked him with keeping him, deactivating him like 3 or 4 weeks, and as of such, I think what the Cowboys really want to do is stay young. Yeah. Stay young. And I think that's what they're really staying with. So they want to bring up these young guys. And if you haven't noticed, well, this is just with me. When you have a really veteran team, you know how the team is more laid back, right? Right. Team is more laid back when you got that veteran team, but we're so damn young. You can see it. You can see in the mini camps, the OTAs. You can see the vibrant, the youngness, the enthusiasm, the jumping up and down. I like that. I want to see the swag. I want to see the swagger from the team. I want to see if it's just a regular play and somebody knocks the ball down, I want to see all my defensive backs jumping up and giving each other high fives and all that. That's what I want to see. And when you have that young enthusiasm, right? It's what do you call? I'm trying to think of the word. It's catchy. Like everybody starts grabbing onto it. And you listen. I watched Chidobe, and every time I watch him, he's just really so into it now. You didn't see that from him last year. You didn't see that from those players last year. And that's what I'm telling you. These new coaches that they brought in the fold have changed. We're forgetting about our offensive line guy, Paul Alexander from Cincinnati Bengals. Those guys love him too. You know why? Because he came in, he said, look, I'm not going to try to change anything you do, but what I am going to do is I'm going to bring some things in and let's talk and let's see what's better and let's see what's good for you. And when a player hears that, he's more receptive and has more of an open mind and willing to learn and do what you say to his coach because he sees his coach is not about this is my way or the highway. Players don't really take good to that.
Yes, indeed, man. And then we got somebody like that who's willing to run through a wall when they're young. Man, I just really feel like, a lot of times we look at, like I'm going to pick it back off what you said about Morris, right? A lot of times we look at the stats and we'll say, hey, Morris did pretty good last year. You know what I mean? And just like we look at the stats when Darren McFadden did in 2015, wasn't he like the third or the fourth running back overall?
Third leading. I think he was a fourth leading rusher in the NFL. And he only had 1,000 yards is not a lot. I think he had 1,079. If you do that, if you do that but he didn't start the whole year. So you really got to give him props because Joseph Randall was playing most of the time.
Yep.
He didn't start until week 6?
Yeah, week 6 he started, and I think he ended up 5th in the total.
So one can argue and say, well, running the ball wasn't the issue, right?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't running the ball.
So what we did in 2016, we went and drafted Ezekiel Elliott.
Right?
So
right.
So what I'm saying is, what I'm crafting the story is that sometimes you can look at the stats, you can fall in love with where we ranked at and stuff like that. But then when you really look at the bigger picture of everything, losing my voice a little bit. When you look at the bigger picture of everything,
and remember,
hey, but when you really look at the bigger picture of everything, you see without a shadow of a doubt that when you running that ball with Ezekiel Elliott,
is that Vach?
Voch
What up,
Lombardi in
though?
the house, man. Hey, that's
I
why he
seen his
cut.
ugly
That's
ass up in here.
that's the people's champ.
I seen that ugly ass in here. I said, "Is that Voch in there?" I seen his ugly ass up in here.
Miss
That's the people's champ.
Miss Jackie don't think I'm ugly.
Oh, somebody got to turn their house down, like you said.
Listen, Miss Jackie don't think I'm ugly. Beautiful Aries don't think I'm ugly. What's her name? I forgot. Miss Scouting Pro don't think that's all of that. That's all of that.
What's up, dog?
Man, John Wick the third holding it down for the Doski, Woski, and the Peasky Weasky. What's happening, y'all?
Number 63 in the building.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
He's in the building.
That's my whole life. Thank y'all for inviting me to the platform and all that. This is my first one. Salute.
Salutes.
Yes, indeed, man. Hey, I was just talking about the aspect of when you have Ezekiel Elliott out there in the backfield. He put TDs down there. He put touchdowns on the board. And that's what I'm saying. When you looked at 2015, we had a decent run game. We was ranked, second, third overall in running. But we still went out and drafted Ezekiel Elliott because we know what it would be better.
I would like for us to pump the brakes on Bo Scarborough, man.
Why?
That kid got a lot of things to do to even make this team, fam. Think about this.
Talk to me.
Think about this. We probably only gonna have 4 running backs on the team in general. Olawale gonna be one, Zeke gonna be the other. So we only really got room for 2. Rod Smith gonna be one of them. Okay. So you kind of got this Bo Scarborough / I don't know what category Webback fall into, but it'll make sense if you add Tavon as a running back because you got a gang of receivers to kind of figure out already. Now, if Bo can make the team based on just being better than folk, salute to Bo. I think Darius Jackson came back too. Bo got a lot of ground to make up, and he has to differentiate himself from the others. He got to play kicking game. He got to be more than just physical run you over guy. He got to learn how to block because those other guys, they can block, they can catch, they can run. So Bo gonna have to, he gonna have to figure this skill set out though. He's a 7th round pick. That means we can get rid of him and not feel bad about it.
That's true, Vosh, but let me ask you this, though. You know how Dallas is when they really like a player, they're going to give him every opportunity to make the team, and I think that's what they will do with Scarborough. And I feel you with all the other outside things because you got to block with the Cowboys. If you can't block, you ain't going to get on that damn field, and that's a known. But I feel like when they fall in love with a player, and I feel like they really like him, especially, with Garrett's relationship he has with Saban, I feel like he gets more of a benefit of doubt than another player that they would have drafted in that 7th round.
Man, remember that one time we loved Gus Johnson and then just one day he wasn't on the field?
Gus the bus, baby.
Don't do that.
We love Darius Jackson.
Don't do that right now. Don't do that right now.
I think the hamstring monster got Gus, though, did he?
I don't know, but look, I think we have a player that plays like Bo, but a little better, and his name is Ezekiel Elliott. He Zeke runs people over in that same way, except he got track speed and he can catch and he can block. So, if you Bo, you got to bring something different to the table. We know Tavon's gonna bring something different. We know what Rod can bring to the table. Aluwale's got to be there for the I formation situation. So you got to do something different, Bo.
I haven't heard a word of Aluwale yet.
Yeah, I know. I think Alawala is going to be a real big difference because they're going to be able to throw out to him out that backfield.
Mm-hmm. Can Alawale be a hybrid tight end groove? Because we kind of small in that area in tight end, fam.
That's what he was in college.
But let me ask you this about our tight end situation: is it really that bad? I don't think it's that terrible right now.
It's
not.
It's unknown. It's unknown right now.
It's an item in the tool belt, right?
I think we're going to be okay at tight end. I think we're going to surprise a lot of people at tight end personally.
Like, we can improve at tight. Like, example, if we throw the ball to, say, Jeff Swain, if he get at least 1 yard of yak, we improve at tight end. So, like Jason
falls forward.
What Jason was really good at was he had timing with his quarterback, and he was secure hands guy. But he got down after he caught the ball. So if we just don't drop the daggum football and just run after the catch, then we'll be solid. Now I'm not saying Jason Witten was trash or that he was easily kicked But how many times have we seen Jason try to block a defensive end and we go, what are we doing? Or we see Jason catch the ball and get down and we go, man, I wish I had 5 yards from that. You know what I mean?
That 2016 game, he baptized somebody with that stiff arm.
That's 3 years ago.
Cincinnati. Yeah, that was. Damn, time flies.
He was a rookie, man.
Hey, you know, when Jason Witten caught the ball, he did the Scooby move. You know, when they run in the air and they don't go nowhere, when they just be running real fast but they don't go nowhere. That's what Jason Witten is, because you know, as soon as you touch him, he going down. Like I be seeing little cornerbacks grabbing him and taking him down. I'm like, dude, really? But I'm telling you, I said this a long time ago, and I watched him last year, and I'm not jumping on the train because everybody's talking about him now because I was talking about him last year. But I do think Blake Jarwin is going to be a really good addition, because I remember watching him in training camp last year, and I kept on asking myself, I said, who is that dude? Because I didn't know who he was, because he came in undrafted. Then he got hurt. But I think he's going to be a big addition. Even though he's 6'6" and 245, he's a long 6'6". If you watch him, he's long and he's linear. And I think they're always saying he's finding those sweet spots in the defense. And I think he's going to be a huge addition for us.
So do we ever go back to tight end setups? Or
why not?
Yeah, why not?
We're going to do that?
Why not? We should do that all day.
We're gonna have to, because if they're gonna load the box up, people like to ask, well, what happens if they load the box up? That's how you block loaded boxes. You add more blockers. So, and then with that comes play action. With that comes rollouts, and then you get your little bootleg game going, back going again. So, as long as everybody's blocking their assignment, we good to go. Let's just try not to think too much about this. I can say the same thing about receivers as I say about the tight ends. Man, do your job. You don't have to be a game breaker. Just catch the ball when it's thrown to you, and block your man. You ain't got to be Julio Jones or Gronk or nothing like that. Just catch it when we throw it to you. Work within the offense and let Zeke be great.
Let Zeke be great. DDP, man, what's the next topic, fam?
Amazingly, I don't think we've touched yet on Randy Gregory applying for a reinstatement this week.
My son.
Oh yeah,
my son.
Who wants
y'all
to
take that?
Yeah, someone jump on that.
I can't wait to hear this Randy Gregory topic, man. Somebody jump on that.
Look here, man. If Randy Gregory doesn't play another snap for the Cowboys, then okay, we're covered. We're secured. Don't trip. But man, if he come back and he's that dude. A lot of people, they want to touch on Randy being, rusty or whatnot. That's fair. But what Randy was good at is more so of a natural gift. It wasn't something that he built up over time. Randy being long, Randy with manipulation, Randy with body contortion, Randy with that dip, how easy he makes that dip move, the fluidity of his hips. That's more so natural what he was born with. Pawpaw Marinelli gonna get him back in shape. He gonna get him back moving again.
Yes,
so all of those gifts, them long arms, them big hands, I got the whole wide world in my hands. Like, that's natural. That's a natural gift. You don't lose that over a year. So if Randy Gregory can come back and be we got the best D-line coach in the league, dog. If Randy Gregory can come back and be what we think he could be,
it's going to change our whole defense. Because just to bounce off you what you're saying, just like Dennis Rodman. I listened to Dennis Rodman a long time ago. When he was playing, he was like, you know what? I could sit out the league for 2 or 3 years. I'd come right back in because it's like riding a bike. Mm-hmm. And I believe it's just like that with Randy Gregory. You don't lose those skills. You don't lose that talent. It's always going to be there. And it's not like he's 30. He's 25. You understand? You know what I'm saying? He's still young, and that doesn't go away. And just like you said, when you get Ron Marinelli to put them hands all on him, what? And you don't think he's not hungry? You don't think Randy Gregory's not hungry to prove everybody and shut everybody up who's been saying, dogging him? He is an elite athlete, just like you said, Vach. When I watched DeMarcus Lawrence, he had 14.5 sacks, but he doesn't have that bend like Randy Gregory does. He got them sacks off that hand placement and off good technique. When you watch Randy Gregory, that's that natural bend that everybody wants.
He just whoop people.
You ever seen that weed eater blade? You ever weed eater before?
Yeah.
You take that weed eater and you go low on it. That's how low Randy Gregory's shoulder.
That bend, when he comes up under you with that bend and he long, it's like, you remember Alden Smith?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Still
just
out there.
just nasty.
Yeah.
And what was so nasty about him? He was long and he had that bend. When he was coming off the edge, he'd get up underneath you, and it was over. It was over. And if Randy Gregory comes back, he is the key piece. I don't give a hell what nobody tells me. Y'all can say whatever y'all want, but Randy Gregory is a piece. If he comes back and does a little bit of the damn thing, he changes our whole defensive line, and that's a mother-sucking fact.
Yeah.
Yes. And then he's underrated against the run too as well. Because I saw some of his tape. I said, this brother is wiry.
He's
his frame
he's strong.
Is. Yeah, he's strong. It's like,
He's wiry. He's strong.
See what it is. It just goes back to natural gifts. Like he has those big hands, and once he gets in your chest plate, he got long arms. So if he extends on you, you can't really get hands on him. So by the time you really figure out what's going on, he's gotten rid of you. Pull some cloth, he slapped your hands down, spin or whatever, and he's right at the ball carrier. You know what I mean? So look, I was just on my live stream a little bit ago. I was like, man, fam, like Coney Ealy might not make the team, and that's okay. Right. And that's
that's real. That's really real because that competition. Because you know that Dorrance Armstrong Jr. gonna be on the team. Dorrance Armstrong gonna be on that team. Taco,
Dorrance, Taco, Crawford, DeMarcus. We don't know what Tapper gonna do. We'll see.
I don't think Tapper makes it.
He may not. He may not. We'll see.
If he has any kind of injury in camp, he ain't gonna make it. He better be injury free, or he's not going to make it. He's still in concussion
protocol, right? He's still.
But then, oh my God! I told you I wrote an article on him. I said it's put up or shut up for his ass.
Yes, indeed.
Cut him.
I'm thinking.
Just cut him. I feel you.
Just cut him so we can keep Coney Ealy. Just whatever.
Yeah, cut him because he don't love football. His mom made him play.
Yeah. Randy Gregory on the way back. Nobody. Look, man, my son has been done so wrong throughout this system, man. We would have got him back last year, but he didn't show up to a drug test. Say, yo, coach, why didn't he show up for his drug test? He was in rehab on the other side of the country. You know what I mean? I don't think there's anything Goodell or the Pro Football Illuminati can pull to keep Randy Gregory out of the driver's seat. I just can't wait till he gets back to Dallas and Pawpaw can get hands on him so we can be great again, fam. Now, DeMarcus Lawrence, I made that video. It kind of opened my eyes up about DeMarcus Lawrence. He's our true left defensive end, DeMarcus Lawrence, honestly. Let him beat up on the right tackles. Randy Gregory is our right guy. If he that's some wordplay. That's our word right guy. He's our right guy. If we can get him back to playing for him, and then look, peep this out. Crawford can start and let Randy rotate to get back acclimated to the game. That's another good thing. We don't have to rush.
So what's going to look like week one? Who's your four guys out there? Week one.
Crawford starting.
Yeah, Crawford, Lawrence, Irvin.
Collins going to be back? You think?
Collins be good to go. Yeah, Collins be good.
So what's the lineup again? What's the lineup again?
I saw with Collins' foot injury, they were talking about it might take longer for him to come back than.
But you know what, Jahad Ward? What do you think about Jahad Ward?
Yeah, Ward.
Yeah, Jahad Ward. He's the one that's showing up.
See, Law, man, you know the Cowboys never have been the type to just bring somebody brand new and throw him in the starting position anyway. That never been Cowboy like. Because technically, Connor Williams don't start until. Connor Williams start, but they're not just gonna hand it to him. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Gregory is gonna have to rotate and get acclimated to the game. He's gonna have to get back in shape, get back healthy, earn his spot. But he gonna get them snaps. He may not start, but he might get more snaps than others.
You like Vosh? You like Dayton Jones?
He does his job.
That's what I'm saying. He does his job.
He ain't flashy, but he does his job.
And I think that's why. Have you noticed how many Green Bay Packer guys we have on our team?
Plenty.
I know of three right off the top of my head. Yeah,
him, Joe Thomas, and what's his face?
Defensive line guy,
Ryan Price.
Yes.
Yeah,
he could be I don't care. You know, when we brought him over, I thought he was just going to be one of those here and go guys, but he was actually doing decent. I mean, because he's probably one of the true one techs we have on our team. He was actually doing decent before he had the knee injury. I think he's a guy that I'm not pumping him up, but he is a guy that could clog the middle a little bit.
I don't doubt Pawpaw, man. Whoever he wants, bring him in. Because I remember.
I like that name, Pawpaw. I'm going to have to run with that.
Pawpaw.
I'm running with that.
Look, man, I remember. Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I remember when we first brought in that draft with Malik. You know what I'm saying? Malik was a 4th round guy to me, and I was like, what about Andrew Billings? What about Ashawn Robinson? What about the other Alabama kid? Can we get one of them? And when we drafted Malik, I was like, okay, Malik's solid, and I ain't really a fan of him, but if Paw love him, he love him. Right. And his guys are his guys. So if he loved Dayton, let's run with Dayton. You know, let's trust.
What about this linebacker? I can be sold a little bit on the edges of the defense, on the defensive front. Just still not sold on the defensive tackles, what have you. But what about the linebackers, though? That's what I'm really worried about.
Marsh Lillard
go down.
If they say he's been showing up, what do you think about him?
LV go down, Lee go down. What the hell we gonna do right there?
I'm most excited about our linebackers.
You excited about them? Talk to me, man.
And the fact that we do have a solid rotation, you know, hopefully that limits injuries now. You know, that we have Joe can come in a pinch, Marsh Lillard can come in a pinch. We can just crank down the dime and to nickel and only use 2 guys. Apparently, Jalen Smith is ready to go and he don't want to look back no more. Let's run it. Something happens, you know, there Van Der Esch can play all the spots.
We still got Damian Wilson.
We forget about Damian Wilson
because he played like crap last year. Hey, you know why? Because he's not a strong side linebacker. They had him at the strong side. He's not a strong side. He's more of a weak side linebacker, and they put him out of position. That's what I feel.
I agree. I would much rather Damian run free, but he's big.
But he doesn't play big though.
He doesn't. It's one of those what you call them? Analytics, right. You know, this size, this, that goes there, that old mess, but whatever. I agree, though. Let him run free.
I don't know, man. Shoot. Well, we'll see, though. We'll see.
But as far as
LVE, Vach?
What's that?
You like LVE?
I just hope he gets better with his hands between now and, you know, September. Like people thought that I thought Leighton Van Der Esch was trash. He's not trash. I just wanted Will Hernandez or Harold Landry. I don't think he's trash. But now that he's on our team, he fits. I understand why he's there. He does move well backwards and laterally. He is a great cover guy. Assuming that he's running free, he ain't got nothing to worry about. I like Van Der Esch. I like that he can play anywhere. You know, Jalen's probably going to be a downhill thumpy type of guy. Sean Lee's gonna play well, and you know he'll be our Tampa 2 move backwards, move lateral dude. You know he can cover. So I don't mind Van Der Esch.
So do you think that if we start out in week 1, unless Van Der Esch blows it up in the preseason? I'm thinking that we start Jalen Smith in the middle. We start Sean Lee at the weak, and then possibly Damian Wilson on the strong, and then you bring in Van Der Esch off the bench as the Mike or as the strong side. Do you think that possibly happened? Because I don't feel like they want to bring him in and just start him right there. I think they want to bring him along slowly.
Do I have the option to put Wilson on the bench and bring in Jordan Lewis to play nickel? Do I have that option?
Yeah, you have that option.
We can run that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you have that option.
If you don't feel comfortable about running your linebackers out, run your DBs out.
I know it's far from here, but let's scout the team that we're going to play, right? We got some explosive guys that's going to be playing in the backfield against the Panthers. They got the little 22 guy. What's his guy name? McCaffrey.
McCaffrey.
There's going to be a lot. Everybody talk about Dak Prescott dinking and dunking. There's going to be a lot of short intermediate passes with what's the quarterback? Cam Newton.
I really think our defense.
I'm
be honest with you. I'm be honest with you. Just to say that, I really feel like our defense is really going to get at him. I feel like our defense is going to get at Cam Newton. He's going to have a really bad game. I just had that feeling in my heart because, you know, as I said, I feel like Chris Richard has brought the attitude that we have needed for a very long time. That was the thing that had frustrated me with the Cowboys for a long time. It was like, I feel like when we would get on the field, we didn't have that swagger. Like we didn't have that that we had before. And I feel like that's the main thing Chris Richard brought, not just the teaching, he brought the mindset. And I feel like once the team gets a mindset, that changes the game. So when we go out on the field against the Carolina Panthers, we don't go out there like, we're going to win this game. We're going to go out there like, you know what? We're about to kick your ass.
And you know what? You know what? Cheeto definitely going to lead that movement of
swagger,
gangster activity.
Yeah,
you know
because
what I mean?
he's the forefront. If you watch Cheeto, he's the one that's acting loose. He's the one that's acting crunk. He's the one that's acting wild, and everybody is flowing off of him. If y'all notice, Cheeto has took the mainstay of talking in that secondary now. When you ask anybody in the secondary, they're always going to Cheeto. You know why? Because he's walking around there like, I'm the man, and this is what we're going to do. And that's why everybody's flowing around him.
If I could just
go ahead, talk to me.
If I could just piggyback on what James was saying, if I was the coach and I had to motivate this team, I would look at Sean Lee. I would like, Sean Lee, you actually played in that Thanksgiving game where Carolina embarrassed us, dog. You know what I'm saying? Let that happen again. That's fresh.
Right.
That's fresh. That
was a beat down.
It was a beat down. Make up for it. I would be playing that film on repeat, watching them people come in our stadium, dancing, gyrating, looking, putting their hand all in their arms, disrespecting us.
Was real disrespectful
on the sideline.
They were very disrespectful that game.
I totally agree, James. Defense is going to step up. Cheeto and Sean Lee going to bring that gangster to the activity. DeMarcus Lawrence going to rack up some more sacks because he won his paper.
We're going to whoop their ass.
Oh, man. Y'all got me crunk, man.
We're going to whoop their ass, dog. We're going
to
whoop their ass, my dog. We're whooping their ass.
We got a long way to go to September.
I don't care. We whooping their ass week 1. I'm telling you, we whooping their ass. I'm going to be there, and I'm going to tell you on film. We're whooping their ass.
DDP, man, what you got, man? You been in the corner over there, man. What's going on, man?
Breaking that game down.
Yeah, I'm really eager to see how it works out in week 1. But, man, that is a ways off. I really do think that Dallas is going to come out of the gate motivated. You know, they had a disappointing season last year. But in general, we're looking at having Zeke for the full year, assuming he stays healthy and can stay out of trouble now. We know he's motivated. We know that he has to shoulder at least a fair bit, if not the majority of last season's shortcomings with that suspension and everything. So he's going to be motivated. We've improved the offensive line. The young secondaries had more time to get better, another full off season and everything, which is usually when you start to see the bigger jump for young players. And with it being Carolina, like you guys said, a team that came in and embarrassed us. And yeah, it was a couple of years ago, but all the same, it's a team that came into our place and embarrassed us. Now we're going back at them to their place. I could easily see this team being motivated and coming in with a huge chip on their shoulder, because most people are probably going to take, like in the national media, they're probably going to take Atlanta in that, or Carolina in that game.
Yeah, they're going to take Carolina.
Hey,
yeah,
but you know what?
Would this be the matchup right here? Would it be, is DJ Moore, he's starting? Is it going to be DJ Moore versus Jay Lewis? Jordan Lewis versus DJ Moore?
I don't give a hell about no damn DJ Moore. Let me tell you something.
Come on, man. Come on.
Let me tell you something. We're going to go to Carolina and we're going to whoop that ass, because I just feel like, we have a – to me, I just feel like we have a different mindset. And to me, getting rid of those assistant coaches was huge. I didn't think it was that big of a deal, because, when they got rid of all those guys, I was like, oh, y'all just doing that because y'all don't want to touch the top guys. But the guys that they brought in, I feel like there's a lot more teaching going on. And if you hear the players, it's teaching. And when players get taught, they are more receptive. They're going to give more all out to you. And when I hear Sanjay Lau, when I hear Ben Bloom, when I hear Chris Richard, when I hear Alexander on that line, I just feel like it's a new, fresh identity. I feel like the Cowboys, that's why I'm excited, because I don't feel like this is going to be the same old Cowboys. You know what I'm saying? The same old thing where we're worried in the third quarter, we're worried in the fourth quarter. Oh, damn, we got a touchdown, 2-touchdown lead. They're going to come back on us in the last 2 minutes. I feel like that is going to go to the wayside. I don't want to see that anymore. And I feel like the coach is going to bring that mindset that, you know what? We're going to keep attacking you. We're not going to go in a prevent defense when we're up by 7 and you're on the 20-yard line and we're going to play prevent. No, we're going to stay aggressive the whole game, and we're going to attack you, and we're going to see what you do, because we're going to come at your neck. And that's what we have been missing. As soon as we get a lead, we get all scary. I don't want to see that. So
we're not going to back down. So when Ezekiel
Elliott, backing down no more.
Ezekiel Elliott scored that touchdown, he's going to do like this.
He's going to do that. And then we're gonna come back and then we're gonna blitz the hell out of you.
Oh man, I can't
blitz the
wait.
hell out of you.
He gonna do Cam Newton's signature touchdown move. He gonna
Probably seen a lot of that.
Is that a
Boy.
Law Nation hoodie, man?
Yeah.
Send me one of them, man.
Oh man, I gotta send y'all some, man. Law
They
Nation.
ain't sending us nothing. He did it on the low. Didn't even tell nobody about it.
Don't let ugly ass Jane talk to you.
Oh, hey, let me tell you something. I'm not ugly. I just got some crooked teeth, but I'm not ugly.
Boy, man, we lit, boy. I can't wait to this game, man. You gonna be live in the flesh, man. So you better be ready, man. You better be ready.
I'll be there. I'm acting cry. Matter of fact, there's this dude that was talking trash to me about 4 months ago. I had to ban him on my page. If I see him, I'm gonna get at him. I ain't forgot his name.
Hey man, some Giants fans was talking noise to him about their offensive line today. So I made a whole hour long live stream on just dogging them
I
out.
see that. I was seeing where you talking about Eric Flowers and them bums.
Look, man. I was saying, okay, Saquon is cool in this offensive line.
Hey,
last year, wasn't it?
Hey, Botch, before you finish that, he said his Get Crunk music is Cardi B. I was done with him when he said that.
No.
He said his Get Crunk music is Cardi B. So when he said that, I said, we're going to beat the hell out of y'all.
Sound like something my girlfriend to say.
Exactly. Exactly.
Come on,
beat the hell
Some money,
I'm
man.
gonna beat the hell out of you. You getting the crunk to Cardi B? We smacking you.
Bodak yellow, man.
I'm gonna keep it real. I think Barkley is overrated, and I don't think he's gonna be that guy that everybody's saying. That's just my opinion.
I think it's more so of an infrastructure with the offensive line and how it's built. You know, you have different types of blockers on that offensive line, and Saquon is basically a zone run guy. I think they run a power offense, so they're gonna have to change that up. But damn, I don't think Eli can be a quarterback in a zone read type offense. So we're gonna have to figure this out.
Eli.
Hey, you heard what D-Law said. He said, "Don't get rid of Eli. I like Eli."
This is the funny part. Like they went to go sign Nate Solder, so they moved what's his face Eric Flowers to the right side, but that's where the best defensive ends are.
Right.
Hilarious. which is hilarious to me. So
hey, let him keep messing up.
Keep messing up, Giants.
Keep messing up because we need 2 straight victories against you bums. Mess up, get out the way, because I'm really ready to get at them damn Eagles for real.
Yeah.
Oh man, they on a high horse right now. Them Eagles.
Man, shut that hot horse up. They whack as hell.
Yeah.
Die, Eagles, die.
I just really want to get at them because they fans, you know, they win 1 Super Bowl. They act like they won 17 of them. You know, they're gonna live on that 1 Super Bowl for the rest of their lives.
Yes, indeed.
You know what they deserve it, man. They deserve it. They earned it.
Man.
They went out there. They waited 7 decades to get it. Let them fly. They'll never get another.
I ain't letting them bones. I ain't let them bones fly. F them.
What else on the docket, man? What else?
Come on, DDP.
After send me one of them hoodie. What else?
I feel like we've kind of run through it. What's something
I
you
need
guys?
that hat, Botch.
Yeah, salute, man. It's part of my Mississippi nature, man.
I thought you was going EPMD.
That's
with the fisherman hat. I thought you was doing EPMD for me. That's all right.
I don't know what I'm talking about. This goes back to my heritage.
I got you.
To my tribe back home.
Tribal
indeed.
Yeah,
man, look, got somebody to make the donation to help grow the nation.
So
there you go with them damn donations.
The long line was good, brother, from NC. How about them Cowboys? He from NC. How about them Cowboys?
Let me ask y'all a question. Since we making up topics on the fly. Just look at your offense, right? I think the line is sealed up to about 2022. I think the first like Connor Williams contract will run out before everybody else's is. So offensive line straight.
Right.
I actually had the notion, man, what if we got to pay Zeke, cut Dak, and just play with Mike White?
Hey, man, why you bring that up, man? What's going on with you, brother?
You know, because the offensive line put the satin on the panties, bro. That's what makes this thing move. At some point, we're going to have to pay everybody else. I love what we do with Zeke. Now, we could pay Dak and just draft different running backs every year, but I don't like experimenting with what works or what does not
We
work.
got to get 2 contracts out of Zeke.
I don't think they're going to give Zeke a second contract.
You don't think so?
Part of me,
I think their philosophy. I think their philosophy is to use up the guy, get the mileage out of him. Maybe they franchise him 1 year, but I don't see them extending Zeke on their long-term thing, especially now. Maybe if he shows that his off-the-field stuff is completely behind him and they don't have to worry about it, maybe they feel a little differently. But I don't know. I just don't see that being in their philosophy. I think every 4 years they're going to look to draft a running back because you can get a guy in the 3rd or 4th round who can still take the league by storm.
Nobody's like Zeke, though.
Nobody's
like Zeke, though. Because this is the reason why I say that. Because if you look at DeMarco Murray, I think they felt like, you know what, we can get a better back than DeMarco Murray. I feel like that's why they didn't come at him with that big money.
He left some meat on the bone.
Like, who's the last running back that got the big contract?
From us?
Anybody in NFL.
Why made some money?
But I'm saying
Le'Veon Bell still can't get a contract.
Is Le'Veon Bell still on his rookie contract?
He's franchised right now, and he's like trying to hold out for.
They're probably. They may franchise Zeke, but what I'm saying is the reason why they probably didn't offer DeMarco Murray because he wasn't Zeke. And I like DeMarco Murray, but he's not Zeke. He didn't have the wiggle. He was a straight line runner, and so I could see why they wouldn't offer him. But Zeke is a different type of running back. You don't get running backs like Ezekiel Elliott. You just don't. He's not one of those guys that you get that comes out the draft every year. He's one of a kind type running back. So when you see that, that's why you may see. That's why I think he'll get a second contract with us. And we have to see what Dak numbers are because he doesn't have that luxury of a 5th year on his option because he was a 4th round draft pick. So this has got to be a critical year for him. So he has an okay year. They're not going to sign him to no $22 million a year. They're not.
Was Dez in your mind a surefire no-brainer in 2015 to give him a second contract?
Yeah, because of what he did 2014, but the years before.
I agree, but we saw in his case the drop-off and everything. Now, his was related, I think, more so to injuries and just general fit within the offense. But I still think it's a thing where if your offensive line is this ridiculously good, if it's this stacked, I think you can get a guy in anywhere from round 1 to 4 and plug him in and still have a very good running game. Now, I agree. You might not have one guy that's Zeke, but if you're telling me I can get a guy that's 70, 80% Zeke and I'm paying him rookie numbers instead of paying Zeke, 14, 15 million at least a year, I mean, I'm taking that. That's my thing.
And this my whole thing about that. Right. I've seen what Dak can do with a good run game. Mm-hmm. I like Dak better when he has an amazing run game.
Right.
And considering that we let Zeke go, I'm assuming that we're keeping Dak. I just don't. I've done the whole plug in some guy game before. I don't want that. I've gotten so acclimated to what we do with Zeke and these gangsters at offensive line. I like that. I would rather take look. Case Keenum is a playoff quarterback. Blake Bortles is a playoff.
Zeke and a regular quarterback.
Nick Foles just won a Super Bowl, fam. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't mind risking. Like, how about we build this thing, then like trade the future to go get a.
The only way your analogy will work, unless this defense just be like top 2, top 3. That's the only way this works. Look at the Minnesota Vikings. It's top 8, but it's far from what Minnesota Vikings did the other year. You know,
I think as far as defense goes, I mean the ranking. Yes.
Sorry, I had to tell my girl to give me a kiss. That's how I yell it.
I just
give me kiss.
I think it's about opportunities, man, and this is about to be an opportunistic defense, in my opinion. I think we're going to play a lot more aggressively than we ever have. This pass rush is about to be consistent. It's about to fully exist. You just talk about your boy Cheeto being a gangster. We gonna play some up man. That's where turnovers come from. That's where opportunities come from. That's where all that type of stuff. Let's run the ball, man. Look, this is probably the best offensive line we've had. I'm a firm believer that
I feel like we've had in a long time.
I'm a firm believer that Leo Collins better than Doug Free and Connor Williams going to be better than Ronald Leary. I think that's just what it. I think that's what it is across the board, fam. That's what it is across the board, fam. That's what it. That's what it is. That's what it,
I don't know about Connor Williams being better than Ron Leary though.
Off the gate.
Connor Williams is a gangster, and to be fair, I did say I did say gonna be better. Ronald Leary
gonna be. I forgot about the gone.
Look, Ronald Leary had to lose weight to be great. You know what I'm saying?
But I'm just saying, when I see Connor Williams, you don't think Connor Williams is not gonna have problems with Snack Harrison?
I don't think so. I think Connor a gangster. I've seen Connor move 300-pound fat kids, man. I've seen him.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna look at
hold on. Because Snacks is not a kid though.
Snacks is a monster though, man.
Even if that's the case though, Connor Williams always got the option to lean over to Travis and go,
right,
combo that thing to backside linebacker. That's fine.
Okay.
But what's
buddy? Voch, man, you threw me for the whirlwind, man. So
I love Connor Williams.
I'm talking about. I'm still blown away with the quarterback situation. You said, "Hey,
okay." I just love Zeke. I love Zeke. Now, if we can,
I mean, that's why they drafted Mike White. Let's keep it all the way funky. Mm-hmm. They drafted Mike White just in case Dak Prescott fails, and they have somebody in their hip pocket. That's why they drafted him. No matter what anybody says, Stephen Jones can say, we want to pay Dak this big money. But if Dak fails, they put that Mike White in their hip pocket, and that's for damn sure.
I just thought about this.
Is Mike White better than Cooper Rush at this moment?
Mike White can push Dak right now. Mike White
is a baller.
So Cooper Rush is just garbage right now, right?
He's not garbage, but he don't have the size and the arm Cooper Rush went undrafted. There's a reason why he went undrafted. People understand that he's a very smart kid. Like I said, he had a 4.0 all through college. But Cooper Rush does not have a strong arm. No matter what anybody tells me, he doesn't. So when teams see that you don't have a strong arm, they're going to play a certain type of defense to you. When you see Mike White, he's 6'5", he's 230 pounds, and he has a big, strong arm. And if you watched him in that Senior Bowl, he played big and strong, and that's what really elevated him. They got him in the 5th round, but other teams had him in a higher draft than Dallas, what they drafted him as. So we really got to steal him, Mike White, for real.
How is he with regard to like leadership and all of that? Like, was he, like Dak? He's a captain on the team, and I would say that for Dak's faults, I don't know that you could have had anyone else step into that situation in 2016 and produce the kind of season that he did. Like, even in the playoff loss, his numbers were really strong. Like,
yeah, Dak is definitely super intangibles guy, but we all know Dak's limited. I'll just say it like that. Dak's skill set, his physical phenotype skill set is a tad bit limited. I think Mike White don't have those problems. I think you can teach leader guy. You can play ball games and win games and become leader guy. If Dak Prescott was the 3rd stringer, he wouldn't be leader guy. He would be hype practice squad dude. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. Also, just another point before I let y'all rock. Somebody else that made the playoffs? Marcus Mariota and Tyrod Taylor. Go ahead.
Hey, but I already posted that on my page because I said everybody was beating up Dak. Everybody was dogging Dak, this and that. But Marcus Mariota went to the playoffs and he had 200 less yards and only 13 touchdowns and 15 interceptions. So while everybody's beating the hell out, saying, "Oh, Marcus Mariota," but the numbers don't say that. And even Cam Newton, he was top 100, 24th on the top 100, and he had an 80 rating, 22 touchdowns and 16 interceptions, while Dak had 22 and 13, and 4 of those interceptions were receivers' faults, so he had under 10 again. So I'm just saying.
And I just don't want to be mistaken here. I love Dak Prescott. I just really, really love Zeke. That's it.
Zeke is special.
Zeke is special. He's a one-of-a-kind running back. He is a one-of-a-kind, and that's why I think he's going to get a second contract, because I don't think DeMarco Murray was a one-of-a-kind running back, and that's why they didn't give him that contract, because he wasn't a one-of-a-kind running back. He was a good running back, but I believe they believe that, that line play and Tony Romo really helped you get them yards, whereas Zeke doesn't need that help. Zeke can create his own yards where DeMarco Murray can't, because you saw that when he went to Philly and he went outside that offense that didn't base him, you saw how much he struggled.
Outside of Frank Gore, and this is my last topic on Zeke. Outside of Frank Gore, name me a running back that stayed special after his second contract and third contract. You can throw in AP, but outside of those two guys, who else in this modern day? Who?
Fred Taylor.
Oh man,
Fred Taylor played. He was 40.
Fred Taylor was a monster.
Throw me beast mode.
Chris Johnson.
Beast mode.
Chris
Johnson folded away like a weak lawn chair.
And his second contract.
His 2K season was on his rookie deal though. He never. I mean, he was still pretty good, but he wasn't near the game breaker he was.
Somebody gonna crunch those numbers in the chat box. I know somebody got some statistics.
Edgerrin James.
I'm talking about this modern.
Edgerrin James, second year contract. Yes, Edgerrin James did ball.
But Law, to be fair though,
Joe's die.
To be fair though, Law,
go
these
ahead.
Guys ain't Zeke though, bro. These guys ain't. Zeke arguably walked into the league the best running back in this thing, man.
Zeke is a dog, and we all know that.
Yeah.
You know, when they announced his name when we drafted him, everybody in Cowboy land pissed in their pants because we was like, we got Zeke. We're gonna beat you.
You know how good we felt.
And when we drafted him, we pissed in our pants.
I kind of sort of quasi get pissed off when I see the peanut gallery have us going like 7-9. Y'all know Zeke played for us, right? Y'all know we got the best man in the league.
Well,
right?
Zeke with 16 games, we're beating damn near everybody.
Yeah, but you know what? I like being underrated. I like when the peanut gallery don't count on us. I love that.
Dallas plays better when Dallas is always said that we're not going to do good. That's when we do good. When the next year, when they're saying, "Oh, the Cowboys are going to look good, they're going to win the division," that's when we freaking fold.
I'm gonna win a lot of money this year.
Me too.
Yes, indeed. So before we wrap this thing up, man, how many points do we average a game?
I'm gonna say 24 at least.
And how many points we give away?
16.
So 24 and 16. That's
right.
That's
You like that?
That's a scrappy team.
You like
that? Before they fell off last year, they had, I think it was 5 straight games over 28. Might have even been like 30 plus.
Until Tyron got hurt.
Yeah. Yeah, their offense, even last year, as maligned as people are, people just look at the last 8 games of Dak and base his entire season off of that.
Those are the haters that don't know
football. Listen to Stephen A. Smith.
Yeah,
right. Those are the people don't know football. When anybody, when I hear them say
skip.
They can't throw past 5 yards, my conversation is done with you. I don't talk to you anymore. You don't know football. Stay out of my way.
Dak can even make the top 100 this year, and I'm glad I don't watch NFL Network no more. But Dak can even make top 100, man. That's
right. Cam Newton made it at 24, and he had the lesser numbers.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I always cycle back to, in the last 8 games, Dallas had Tyron Smith and Zeke on the field for a grand total, together for a grand total of 3 snaps. That's it. Dak fell off, definitely. After that Atlanta game, he looked shook. Wow. He wasn't as comfortable. He had happy feet in the pocket, and his timing was off. No doubt. He shares blame in it as well. But everyone who just dogs on him like he was the only thing that kept us from going back to the playoffs, that's just ridiculous to me. I really think that he's going to be better this year. I don't know that his stats are going to be hugely better. I just think he's going to show improvement in some of those other areas, whether it's his decision making or just some of his downfield passing, just connecting at a little bit better rate.
DDP, do you have how many points we gave up last year? What was our average?
Our average points allowed? I don't have that top of my head. I can give it.
Hurry up. You're the stats guy.
Do you Google?
Hey, anybody in the chat box know how many points we gave up? Because if we can give up, he said 16, right?
Yeah.
That's
not bad.
That's not bad.
We got blew out 3 times now.
Yeah. That's the thing when people say we had the 8th ranked defense. I always point back to that stretch there where we got murdered 3 games in a row.
Imagine.
Yeah.
Broncos, Chargers, and
nobody got that stat.
Cowboys allowed 22.1 points per game.
Can you imagine if those 3 games didn't exist, or if they was just a
Man.
little better than what they were, please, we about to.
Hold on. No. I think that's the offense. Hold on.
Okay, yeah, because I'm about to say,
I was about to say we gave up 21.
No, that's our offense. My mistake.
All right.
Jeez.
I'm like 21, really?
Where the stat munchers at, man? Honestly, I ain't calling y'all stat
Hey,
munchers
but
in
you know
the
what?
chat
Here's
box.
the thing. Here's the thing that you get excited about. Our defense last year doesn't have the apex that we have this year, and we were 8th ranked.
Right.
We didn't have the apex, we didn't have the mentality, and we didn't have the attitude that we have this year, and we were 8th ranked. So how can you not be excited about what we're looking forward to this year when we have the mindset? Every time I hear Chris Richard, I'm not trying to pump him up like he's a god, but what I will say, it's a mindset. And every time I hear him, he's saying it's a mindset. It's a mindset. And when you get those young players to really believe that and understand that, especially young players, now when you get them old players that are like 31, 32, and 33, when you get them young minds, because them young minds are impressionable. And when you get them young minds locked down, they're going to follow you. They're going to follow you to the ends of the earth and going to do what you want them to do. And that's what I feel like they're respecting Richard, because number one, he came from Seattle. So when he came from Seattle and he stepped on the day he stepped on foot on Dallas's soil, he had the ultimate respect. So automatically they were going to listen because they looked at the Legion of Boom, and we want to be like that. So credibility really helps in what you want to really succeed in what you're trying to do.
I want to hear Byron Jones cuss, because I can't have Cheeto and Jordan and all them Crunk and Kevon Crunk and Byron Jones being a gentleman. I need Byron to be.
Byron Jones is a senator. Now,
He's a senator,
watch. When he retires, he's going to be in legislative.
Fair enough.
So we can't really rely on him. Now, I will tell you, Vach, I am a little disappointed because I know Chris Richard wants to make Byron Jones this guy, but I've seen a few times in camp when I'm seeing these receivers getting that get off on him. Byron Jones he goes for them same moves. I just feel like
20.8.
Jordan Lewis is a better outside corner, and I'm frustrated because they're trying to pigeonhole him and put him in the slot because of his size. But he's a better cover corner than Byron Jones, and I don't care what the hell anybody.
I think they're gonna start Byron.
20.8 points per game allowed by Dallas last year.
20.
Oh, wow. So that's 8th overall?
I'm just
8th
asking
overall.
You're giving up 20
Who's better?
points and you 8th overall? That's
I'm asking
crazy,
who's
huh?
better. Is Byron Jones a better cover corner than Jordan Lewis?
I tell you this.
Oh, man, nobody's better cover corner than Jordan Lewis. I call him Hip Pocket Lewis for a reason. But go ahead.
Byron probably gonna start, but that coaching staff would be fools if Jordan beat him to continue to let Byron play. I think they're gonna let it run fair across the board. This is the same coach staff that said, "Hey man, Prescott hot. We're gonna have to sit Tony." It's the same staff. So I think, but Jordan got to come in and earn it though. That's all I'm saying. Now Byron will be the project. Byron, will be, hey, I'm Chris Richard, this new face. Let's see if I can turn Byron into something. But I'm sure that if Jordan whooping his ass all training camp, I don't,
So the consensus is that they trying to move Byron to right corner or what?
Right
What are they trying to do?
Yeah,
right corner.
right corner.
And they gonna move Jordan because of his size to the inside. Is that what they trying to do?
They just really excited about Byron's measurables. So they're giving him, and then look, to be fair, the whole seniority thing, it makes sense to give him the first crack at it. But you got to compete for your job. You got to win it. So you can get the first crack, but it's all about who wins the job in August. Jordan ain't no punk.
Jordan ain't no punk, but I see. Man, look, it's gonna be weird, man, seeing this thing gonna play out. So, with that being said, DDP said we averaged 20. We gave up 20 points a game, right?
Yep, almost 21.
21
and we scored
points a game.
22, just over 22.
So 16, that probably put us at top 5. If you're gonna give, that's just weird though. The defense 8th overall, you're giving up 20, and you still
No
8th
black and
overall.
mild here.
Yeah, I mean it's just total defense and everything that they were rated 8th because there are other teams lower on the list who gave up fewer points a game.
What'd you say? What'd you say?
Just
Man, it's crazy, man. But
Hit the rewind and play it.
I'm gonna hit that rewind, but I'm gonna hit that rewind. I'm gonna hit that rewind.
You gotta say it no more.
I'm going to rewind
That's
to see what's on your mind. Yes, indeed, man. So we'll see, though. We will see, man. So we wrap this thing up because I gotta get ready to go to bed. You know how it is.
You got to go to bed. I'm an hour ahead of you.
What time it is?
11:30. You been late, man.
Oh, okay.
I got work tomorrow too.
Boy, when y'all get about my age, I tell you, man.
Oh, whatever. I'm older than all y'all.
Yes, man. He said past that. You know what I mean? But yes, indeed. All right, long as it ain't Randy Gregory, we already good.
Randy Gregory. That's what we call it now. It's just the Randy Gregory.
Get him.
Yes, indeed. So, with that being said, Vach. No. Ho. Big Game James. Tell them where they can find you. Go ahead. Okay, go ahead.
Say the best for last. I'll go first. Say the best for last. Go first.
I'm gonna let.
Hey, just check me out on Facebook. Big Game James. Check us out on Silver&Blue Nation. As I said before, every Sunday, 3:30 to 5. Cowboy Interactive. Jump on there. We're talking Cowboys football, whoever. You can call in. We got the number. It goes down. I just created my Big Game James page for YouTube. I haven't released any content on it yet, but I have created the page and things will be coming out momentarily. It won't just be Cowboys. It's going to be a little bit of everything. So make sure you tune in. I'm going to have a lot of fun on that page. So if you want to enjoy it and have a lot of laughs, you better go on this damn page because we're going to have some damn fun on that one.
That's what I'm talking about. He put the F-U in fun, baby.
F-U.
In fun.
Hey, man, F-U.
All right, so with that being said, too, as well, you guys know that every legend was once a prospect, right? And if you guys don't know about that, the link is in the description box. Every legend was once a prospect. DDP, tell them about some more of the information.
Yo, if you guys want to check out the Dallas Prospect, we're on Facebook and YouTube. Also, don't forget to check out the DallasProspect.com, your home for Dallas sports and all things pop culture. Beyond that, man, we're just going to keep churning out content. We're also trying to do more with our pop culture side with some interviews and all that with the local music scene and everything in Dallas. And we're just going to keep grinding.
Yes, indeed. Tell them about the podcast, too, as well.
Yeah. So we're actually kicking around an idea for this upcoming season, doing a second show essentially each week that would be purely a podcast, still with Big Game James, Silver&Blue, Law, all that, and we can have guests in and stuff as well. But the idea is basically that either in our preview for a game or our analysis after the game, we would do a show on that. That would be available through iTunes and Google Play, as well as probably SoundCloud. But like I said, right now we're just kind of kicking around the idea. We're going to fine tune it and figure out what works best.
Yes, indeed. So if you guys don't want to see our beautiful faces, you guys can just click on to the podcast when you're at work, or when you're on the road. You can just listen to our voices.
Those are no good ass voices. Don't try to get deep on them right now.
Close the door.
What y'all saying right now? I don't understand what y'all saying.
Hey, you guys just see me. Thank you for tuning in to the Law Nation Film Session. As we take a deeper look at, that's how I be on the mic. As we take a deeper look at Bo Scarborough, first and foremost.
Bo Scarborough.
And remember, listening to nothing but the bass. Hey, Voch Lombardi, tell them about yourself, man. Tell them where they can find the People's Champ.
And it's Voch Nation, Voch the King, John Wick the Third. Salute to y'all, VOCHLONBARDI on Twitter and Facebook and on YouTube. Listen, we don't lie to y'all. We want to lead this movement based on integrity. When you go watch the Peanut Gallery and the 4-letter networks and the three-letter networks, they push these narratives that has nothing to do with integrity, nothing to do with sports. They want to talk about fashion. They want to talk about tweets. They want to talk about sports politics and the goings on and scandals and Lonzo Ball's mixtape. We bring you the real here. We don't lie to the people because we are part of the people.
Yes.
That's especially what I do on my show. I bring film. I don't lie to you. I don't bring narratives or opinions without facts, without paperwork, without backup. It's on the screen for you to see. You can't call me a lie. You can't call me biased. VOCHLONBARDI. Follow me. It's Voch Lombardi. Salute.
Salute, my dog. Salute, man. That's why I call him the People's Champ. That's why I knew I had to let him go last in the mix.
People's Champ. I'm gonna give you that.
Shout out to the troll of the night. That's the Niner Empire 77.
Is that
The
not
Niner Empire? That's your
not
boy.
Empire? Is that my boy? Because he was all on the page all Sunday just talking trash. That lets me know you a deep Cowboy fan. Tell me how you love us.
Yes.
You don't like them Niners. You just put that by in front of your name. You a Cowboys fan.
He got 77 in there.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You know that's the year we won a Super Bowl.
So when you found out, T.O. was a Hall of Famer as a Cowboy over 49er, you were excited, huh?
He was super excited.
And made you smile a little bit when you saw T.O. on the Madden cover with a star on his helmet. Now, didn't it?
Yeah. Hey, Vosh, when he seen us on live, he was like, "Ooh, the Cowboys is all right now. Cowboy talk. Let me get in there. I hate y'all, but I really do love y'all."
He was. Look, why didn't you watch the gold and red San Francisco prospect? they were streaming tonight too.
They had 2 views though.
He was one of them.
They had some guy named. They probably got somebody named Slaw Nation or something. You know.
She said Slaw Nation.
Slaw Nation and Rock Lombardi.
Oh man, Rock Lombardi. Little Game James, not Big Game. Little Game James and CCP.
CCP.
Oh, buddy, man, that's all the time we have for today, man. It's still always a pleasure, man. Like they say, it's better to be seen and not viewed out here. And I thank everybody for tuning in. Shout out to Ethan, Italian Cowboys, Joseph, and Nat. Shout out to you guys, man. Stay in the chat box. We try to keep it live like 95, and that's been our time. And remember, you guys are listening to nothing but the best. Salute.
Vosh Luther King.
Peace. All right, baby. We gone.